All right, fisters, welcome to the MiddleEasy Fight Fist podcast. I am your fat, funny bastard host, Dan LaMorte. Joining me is my co-host, Luke Touma.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming out, fisters. We are here with the we're happy you're here, fisters, and we're with the fisted co-host.
Yeah, we got Austin Locke on the mic as well.
What's up?
Yeah.
Hashtag the Bowtie Master.
Hashtag the Bowtie Master.
He wasn't on the last episode because he's also our tech bitch.
Yeah.
Tech, you're a side bitch.
No, I think the fans have decided you're a tech bitch. All 32 of them who reviewed the podcast have decided you are the tech bitch. One person did hashtag that they wanted more Austin, so we are listening to
so
our
we're
one
back.
fan
Yeah,
for
thank
tonight.
you guys.
And I really hope he tweets at us hashtag no more Austin so we can get you off the mic
Austin's
again.
doing all our production, by the way.
Yeah,
know
no,
that
you-
one person was definitely Austin who was like, more Austin,
Yeah,
please.
he set up
the
a different
bow
IP
tie's
address. He's smart enough to do it.
great.
Or he just
I'm gonna cut this so that like it's only positive stuff about me, just so we're clear.
He's gonna keep.
I thought
he's
you were
gonna
I have
keep
all the
making-
power here.
He's
Yeah.
gonna keep making new iTunes accounts. We're gonna get all these reviews. They're gonna be like, "Oh, stop calling him side bitch.
iTunes-
Austin's a real man."
he's gonna pay the guys at MiddleEasy to tell us we need to use him
That's
on
right.
every episode.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Austin's amazing." We're gonna be like, "Oh, thanks."
So let's
I
get
mean,
into a
they'd-
nice,
they'd be right.
lighthearted subject after Austin. The bombing at the Port Authority this
Yeah,
afternoon.
fisters. How we feeling about
Well,
that?
we're breaking the fourth wall. We don't actually release. We don't tape on Thursdays. We tape on Mondays and release on Thursdays. So the fourth wall's broken because there was an attempted bombing today. And as New York does best, it did not let the guy win. It really broke him. He was a failed terrorist.
Yeah, it was. He was unsuccessful in his dreams and goals.
That's what he gets, though, for trying to blow up the Port Authority because that place is already not doing well. So,
Yeah, Port Authority is the worst place
Yeah.
on planet Earth.
yeah, if he did, I was going to say something messed up, and I'm going to stop myself because I don't want to upset if we have any fans in New York. So, I saw a video. They released a picture of him
Although
on the ground.
if you're one of our fans and you like the Port Authority, go fuck yourself.
Well, I feel like I travel a lot through the Port Authority.
The Port Authority's garbage.
If I take
dude.
the
I've
bus-
used the Port Authority 1,000 times.
Wait, you have a car. Why would you ever need to take the Port Authority?
Save money.
Yeah,
People watch.
I use the Port
People
Authority.
watch?
Yeah,
but it's
try to take
gross.
out terrorists before it happens. You know,
Yeah.
just
You've been
being-
hanging out there for years waiting for terrorists,
Yep,
and then one day,
one
that
day
it-
I don't go.
Oh,
I
damn.
also use public restrooms when I have to. I don't like them.
I love them. Serious question. When you use a public restroom, do you guys put the little seat down? Like
No.
the little paper seat?
Fuck no.
Or you
Who
just
does
bare
that?
ass it?
I hate the way the paper seat feels on my
I
ass.
feel like I'm going to squeeze a shit out and then just fly off the toilet.
Yeah, dude. And I also don't like when, like,
Friction right off.
I don't like when you're like wiping and it sticks to your ass if you're sweaty and then you got like all this shit going on.
Same.
You're trying to wipe your ass, then you have this weird like paper circle stuck to your ass at the same time, and there's two types of paper. It's awful. I give a nice
It's
wipe
a
down.
totally different type of bomb now we're talking about at the Port Authority. I've dropped some mean nukes in the Port Authority.
There's a Starbucks in Astor Place because I work in the East Village, and I shit in that Starbucks constantly. And
What's
every
the
time
password?
12340.
Boom.
Wow.
Thanks for
There
the
we
creative
go.
password.
Let's go,
Starbucks.
guys.
Absolutely,
That's a
guys.
new
We should
podcast.
have a
Astor
meetup
Place,
there, yeah.
Starbucks 12340.
This podcast is just outing Starbucks codes for their bathrooms.
We should put a new
Every
week.
episode, we should do a different code for a different bathroom around
People
New York.
tweet if you know any Starbucks passwords, tweet at us.
Yeah,
and
tweet
then
at us a Starbucks bathroom
Call
codes.
in.
We'll call in. Yeah, we have live call-ins.
We
guys.
definitely have some homeless fans. They're gonna use this to shit some Starbucks.
That's really narcissistic of us to think the one piece of technology they'd use a week is to download our podcast.
They're like,
They're just like, dude, I'm jonesing for some Wi-Fi to get my MiddleEasy Fight Fist podcast on.
I haven't eaten in 3 days, but I need to listen to Fight Fist.
I mean, they'd be right.
Those are our
so.
fisters, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful.
What was that?
I said powerful.
Get off the mic.
You're looking real angsty today, Austin. You're in all black.
I'm always looking angsty,
Oh,
but
yeah.
thank you. I appreciate
That's
it.
so nice for the people who listen to this and don't watch. It's an audio podcast, but yes, Austin is in all black.
Yeah.
I think you deserve to be on an NYU watch list
Yeah.
for someone who shoots it up.
I don't even know how to respond to it.
Speaking of Austin shooting up, schools in public places, the Port Authority bombing happened today, right? That's what we were talking about, wasn't it?
Yeah, we went off the rails. All I wanted to say about
Yeah.
that was if you can go online and look at the picture of the guy on the ground after his bombs unsuccessfully went off, looked like his shirt like melted to him. It was very fun to watch.
Also, it looks like he blew his dick off. There's a hole in the front of his pants, and very suspicious.
Well, that is suspicious.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Can you imagine living through doing that and then just having a blown off dick and having to live in jail like
to
that?
be honest, if I blew off my dick, it wouldn't change much of my sex life as is. So would it be the worst thing to lose? I don't know.
You're like, if I blew up my dick and it failed suicide bombing, my life would be almost no different.
Yeah. The only thing that could really affect my life was if my right hand got blown off because that's what I hold my mic with. That would be the only. Oh,
I
no,
thought
I hold it
you-
with the left.
I thought you were gonna go jerk off route with that.
Oh, well, if I have no dick, I can't jerk off. There we go.
Your comedy career might take off after that, because like all the time you like spend.
I know a few comics who have no hands and their careers are not taking off. So
I meant no dick, but the hands thing would.
no, maybe we should edit out the no hand thing because there's only a few comics who have no hands.
Let's name drop.
Yeah, who's the guy from? Well, I was gonna drop a movie reference and I forgot the movie. So that's because I have a
Yeah.
traumatic brain injury, folks. Don't get mad at me. I have a struggling brain.
But
Thanks for adding that comment, Austin.
what else is going on besides terrorist attacks and handless comics?
Well, let's talk about. Do we want to go right into the Spotify playlists?
Do you?
I do. So,
This
for those of you who don't have Spotify, once a year, towards the end of the year, Spotify releases a playlist for your most listened to songs of that year. And I was very, very much upset at the songs on my list. All it did was remind me I went through a breakup this year. So shout out to Jen for that playlist and really solidified what was on there. So I feel like we should go over maybe what our first couple songs on there are that are really embarrassing and just and see if see what the listeners think
Yeah,
about
I think yours is the worst, so you should.
Yeah,
Mine is
yours
the
is gonna be
worst.
far more
Dan's is by
embarrassing
far
than
the
rest of
worst.
us.
Yeah,
Dan's
which is
is
funny
great.
because if you were looking at us, you would think I listened to like the most screamo
Yeah.
shit, and it was the exact opposite of that. So let's pull that up.
Soft motherfucker.
Guy, can you pull it up? We have the guy who pulls up our phones for us.
Yeah, everybody.
Guy.
So my first four are very odd. I'll do my first four. So number one, by a long shot, I could guarantee it's a long shot, is Say You Won't Let Go by James Arthur.
Why?
British singer who won the X Factor a few years back. Shout out to James Arthur. Why? Because it's such a good song.
I think you have to play a snippet of it right now, just like just so they
No,
can
I
appreciate.
don't think that would sound good. I could
It's-
sing it for them. No, I'm kidding.
Can you
I'm not.
please?
No, this is going to be a whole different podcast then. Everyone would tune out right now when I start singing Say You Won't Let Go by James Arthur. It's just a really nice song about how they met at a bar and they were both drunk and he held her hair back when she was throwing up. And then she looked over his shoulders and for a minute he forgot that he wasn't sober. And he said, I want to dance with you right now.
It's about her
That's,
puking?
Number one, Say You Won't Let Go by James Arthur from his great album, Back from the Edge. Funny thing about that, I love him so much, I couldn't name one other song he sings, except the song that he sang in the finale of the British X Factor, which was Impossible, which was really good. He's a good dude. Number two.
I don't even know how to like talk about this.
I was
right?
just want to say, this is how you know Dan watches way too much TV, that he's
Yeah.
up to date on the British X Factor
No,
finals.
no, not TV, YouTube. I'll tell you how I discovered James Arthur, if we're going to be honest.
Austin and I looked at you like you were speaking Chinese.
Yeah,
We were
right,
"What
exactly, like
is
the
he
British X
talking
Factor- yeah.
about?"
You know what happens when I get depressed? I want to watch people doing better than me in life. So I go on YouTube and I type in golden buzzer moments from Got Talent. And then different golden buzzer moments pop up. And then eventually I stumbled upon James Arthur.
Did you see
Yeah.
the one guy piff the Magic Dragon from like last
He
year?
didn't get a golden buzzer, so that's not relevant.
That was
but-
he got a golden buzzer. That
No,
shit
he
was-
didn't.
Yeah, he did.
I know my golden buzzers.
Yo, I'm gonna
He didn't get a golden buzzer
Yo,
on the first episode.
piff the Magic Dragon. Come on the
I know who
podcast.
got golden buzzers last year. It was the
I'm
little girl
Googling
who
this right
plays
now.
with the
I
ukulele.
literally don't know what a golden buzzer is. Like, I don't know what that
Okay,
means.
so essentially if you're on an America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, whatever other countries there are.
Whatever other countries there
I don't know
are.
which people have got talent. So say the first round, you just
Papua
audition
New
for
Guinea's got talent.
Yeah. Bangladesh got talent. Clearly, the guy who blew up the Port Authority had no talent.
It's like third
So-
world countries got talent.
Yeah,
Just
he
people
didn't even
cry.
make it to the live show. The Bangladesh.
Piff gets the
bomber.
golden buzzer. Boom.
Well, eat shit. This is why
What I mean, I'm sorry that I'm just right. Sorry.
Okay, now I'm the only one who doesn't know about the British X Factor.
No,
Apparently.
this is the American
No,
one.
that was the American
yeah.
one. Some comic.
I'm
Either
not.
way, I don't
I
know
don't.
shit
I don't.
about
I don't
that
need to go.
So yeah. So should we jump into? So basically, what happens is if you do well on the first audition, you usually make it to the next round.
Yeah.
But if you do so well, each judge gets one golden buzzer, and it sends them through to the live shows if they're like really good. And then also the host of the show gets a golden buzzer.
Yeah.
There's nothing fun about it. Just really, everyone ends up crying. There was a deaf girl this past year who got it, and it was the most beautiful thing I've seen. I was a little suspect about it, though, because she had her shoes off because she said the only way she hears the music is if she feels it through her feet. 'Cause she was like
What does she do? Sing?
yeah, she's fully deaf, which is amazing. If it's true, it's amazing. But there was one part of the song where the crowd starts going crazy, and she smiles and like acknowledges that they're going crazy. But it's like then she had to hear them clapping.
And so she says she feels what through her feet?
She doesn't wear shoes when she sings because she feels the vibrations.
What if she
through
feels
her
the
feet?
clapping
wouldn't
vibrations
she
through her feet?
feel the
Yeah,
applause
right?
and clapping
You
vibrations?
know
Yeah.
what? Well, I was trying to prove this girl is not being deaf, but I guess
Tackling
she
the real
is.
issues here, Dan.
So
You've
we'll
been getting
go-
really shut down with these X Factors.
No. Yeah, he tried coming in here, Austin. Oh, I don't know nothing about
Yeah.
Got Talent. And he's like,
No,
well, Piff,
I know Piff.
Piff got the golden buzzer.
I'm a huge Piff.
And, you know, I really think she heard the claps through her feet. I was there actually.
Yeah.
I do
I'm
tech
actually
for them.
We had
I'm
like
actually
4
the deaf
guests
girl.
lined up. Austin killed all of them so he could get up and then
Yeah, just so you
fucking
could talk
prove
about
Dan
Got
wrong about
Talent.
the X
No,
Factor.
I'm trying to
off.
steer
This
it
is
back
all
to
a
bow ties.
conspiracy.
I'm trying to get back to bow ties, honestly. Like I'm gonna
All right,
sneak it
so
in there.
we're gonna shut that down right now and go into song number 2, which is song number 2 on my playlist. It's not a new song, but it deserves to be on a list. Only the Good Die Young by Billy Joel.
All right.
Yeah.
That's-
You can't
that's
get mad
respectable.
at that song.
Although I don't like that song because they play it all the time at the bar I worked at in the East Village.
They only
And,
play it when I know people who die.
I.
So it brings back good memories. Then we take a huge difference. So number 1, James Arthur. Number 2, Billy Joel. Number 3, we go into the Mask Off remix with Kendrick Lamar and Future.
I like that turn.
Not sure. And then, but don't worry. It turns around right back again with number 4 coming in hot as Piano Man by
That's-
Billy
yeah,
Joel, which is
that's-
my favorite song. Fun little fact about Piano Man. When I auditioned at the Cellar, I was like super nervous. And Piano Man's my favorite song. Because like there's something about how it relates to comedy, kind of like doing a free show at a bar.
Yeah.
People are like, dude, you're good. Why are you here?
Mhm.
And then when I was so nervous before I got on stage at the Cellar. When I was walking downstairs, they do live music on Fridays, and the song that came on was Piano Man. And I was like, your boy's about to crush.
That's actually so weird because before I did my first mic, I heard that song too.
Well,
That's
thanks for
creepy.
ruining my
What do
story.
you mean I'm ruining? I'm relating to you. I guess never mind.
So we'll do the
And
next 5. We'll do our
Austin-
top 10.
I'm leaving the
Dan's like an
podcast.
abusive father
He
to
is,
Austin.
Dan. I'm
Austin's
trying.
like,
I'm
he's going,
so-
yeah, Dad, I play football too. And he's like, you suck at football.
That's just the weirdest coincidence that's ever happened, and he's just whatever. It's whatever.
Well, because I made
It's
it
fine.
in like a really good moment in my career. And you're like, yeah, that first time I did an open mic, there was
yeah,
like
that's a.
Piano Man.
I mean,
I was trying to feel special.
Oh wait, never mind. You're right.
We'll connect after
No, never
this
mind.
and
I don't
we'll
need
cry
your. I
about
don't need your
Piano
support
Man.
anymore, Dan.
I need
actually editing
yours
you.
because without you, this podcast
No,
would
no,
not get edited.
I'm gonna edit you out of the. This is just gonna be me talking for like 20 minutes. Is the podcast now?
The MiddleEasy Austin Locke breakdown. So number 6.
Austin's going to have a spin-off podcast called Austin Gets Fisted.
Yeah. That I think the camera will last for that because that's a quick process. That's just in and out. That won't overheat on that one. Should we go into my next 5?
Are you looking at me? I don't. Do
looking
you
at you.
do
You're
you
a-
care?
you're a co-host.
Do you care about me? No, I don't act like my
You're a
opinions
co-host.
here.
You should interject when it matters. When I say, hey, do you want to? Well, the fans are going to hate me. All 32 of them. Number 6 gets even worse by, I think this dude was in One Direction, Niall Horan.
I don't
And
know.
he
Who that
left.
is. Was
He has
he?
a song called This Town, which is about a breakup. That's where the first breakup song
You
really
have such a
comes
sad
in.
life.
when
You just
when
listen
was
to
your
like-
breakup?
Oh, shit. When was that? I think around May, maybe? Early
So-
May?
So you also got. So then you got to factor in that these have been listened to for only over the course of like 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, so a lot. If
So
there
you-
was actual numbers on this, it'd be concerning.
You almost have to. Yeah, you have to
I
almost.
think
What you
double
also
them.
have to factor in is 2 days after my breakup, I got into my second near-death car accident of the year. So it was just an influx of weird emotions coming in.
Uh-huh.
To be honest, the breakup didn't affect me at all because I almost died 2 days later. That's the best way to get over a breakup is almost dying.
die.
Yeah.
You know, the funniest part about it was after my car accident, my ex-girlfriend messaged me. She was like, that's so sad. You have no idea how that makes me feel. I was like, I broke 7 bones. How do you think I feel?
Yeah, what a
No,
narcissistic take.
it gets worse. She goes, I wasn't even talking about that. That was the car we had our first kiss in. I was like, that's your concern? I was like, I'm pretty sure part of my foot is still in that car. Fuck you and that's your first concern?
Dan's
Not
in
the
a
fact
full
that
body cast, and she's
Yeah,
like,
that's-
"What's happened to the
I have
back
to pay
bumper?"
off $8,000 on this car because it got totaled, and she's concerned that was where our first kiss. We're already
That's
broken
so
up.
funny.
Who cares where our first kiss
Oh,
was?
she's like, by the way, I left an earring in the glove box. If you mind
Yeah.
digging through the rubble.
Yeah, the most upsetting part of the car accident was I did leave something in the car, and it was a pack of wild berry Skittles.
Really?
And I didn't get them back, and I have nightmares about that every day. It was in the glove compartment. Because, you know, red Skittles are fine. The blue pack tropical, pretty shitty. But wild berry Skittles are really where the money's at. Every flavor just brings it home. They gel well together. Thank you to our sponsor, Skittles. Made with pig gelatin. I didn't know that until a Muslim kid I used to go to school with came over to my house, and I was like, what should I get for a snack? I'll get Skittles. He was like, yeah, there's pig in that. And I was like, well, you ruined my whole life.
Really?
Yeah, there's pig.
That's
Call in. So then I'll just finish out with a few other songs on here. Next is my favorite band, so it makes perfect sense. Ho Hey by the Lumineers. Then it gets really weird. I'm going to be honest. This song, I don't know how it made its way on the playlist. It is Walking in Memphis by Mark Cohen. I don't know how that one made it onto the podcast.
I don't know that song.
Onto the playlist. It's you've never heard Walking in Memphis?
I mean, I don't recognize the name, but I might have heard of it.
Oh my! I think you know what happened. I read a story about him. Apparently, after a show, he got carjacked and like shot in the head. I think I just became obsessed with his music. One song. I don't like any of his other songs. Then it comes right back to Billy Joel, which She's Always a Woman. I guess that factors into a breakup. I don't know. There's 3 Billy Joel in the top 10. That says a lot about me. Because when you grow up I'm from the town in Jersey where Bruce Springsteen is kind of from. He sings about it in his song Highway 9. And like my whole life I had to tell people that I like Bruce Springsteen more. But I'm here to admit Billy Joel is a national treasure. And Bruce Springsteen's okay, but he's no Billy Joel.
I've been listening to a lot of Elton John lately.
Yeah, it ties in. I mean, there was a video where him and Billy Joel did a little riff on the piano together.
Yeah, Elton John, man.
Did you see the new Kingsman that he was in?
No.
That was so funny.
Really?
He plays himself in the new Kingsman, but he's
Yeah.
pretty dope. Yeah.
One of the coolest videos of the year was Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden brought Kevin Spacey on stage to sing a song with him. Looking back on it, not the ideal person to have on stage with you these days.
Billy Joel's rocking out, and Kevin Spacey's just got a hand on Billy Joel's dick.
Yeah. No, most probably the interns that work with Billy Joel. He goes for a younger demographic. Shout out Kevin Spacey. If you want to come on the podcast and talk it out, let me know, buddy.
He's actually just going to be on Austin's spin-off podcast.
Yeah.
Fisting with Austin.
Yeah.
Fisting
Wow,
with
yeah.
Austin and co-host Kevin Spacey.
Woo, Kevin Spacey. He's more of a groper, but I could see him getting a fist up there. You think he's got a big fist?
I don't know. I feel
Like
like
he's got a sizable fist.
no. I feel like he has like. Remember that one scene in House of Cards? I was saying Game of Thrones when he like knocks on. He has a powerful fist. That's what I'm trying to.
He's got a powerful fist.
He has a
That's
powerful
good for you,
fist.
though. Get
It
up
is,
there
yeah.
quick.
Exactly.
By the way, I hope the fans are seeing the range we have on this podcast.
Yeah.
We don't have a guy like Diego in who was on our last week's podcast. We're interviewing
Oh
him
my
about all
God, the
these.
MMA fans are gonna hate this opening.
Yeah, the MMA fans are like, why are they talking about the
Yeah, Kevin Spacey.
Why are they talking about their audio engineer getting fisted by Kevin Spacey?
And honestly, if we had any female listeners, they're gone now. They're gonna revoke their reviews.
Yeah, listen. This is something that everybody can get along. You know, gotta come around like where Austin's coming from here.
What?
You lost me. Sorry.
You lost me too.
I try to get our female fans back. But
Oh,
dropped off.
if we had female fans, they would love Austin. He's
Yeah.
an attractive
Little twink.
twink. Yeah, twink's the right word.
Yeah, I'm quitting after this podcast episode. Just so we're clear.
What are your top? Songs
Mine's
But I
not.
gotta give a shout out. I have the song "I Hate You, I Love You" by Nash, which is a great song because he kind of raps and he kind of sings and he's not good at either, so it kind of just makes
Who's
a nice
Nash?
little melody. He's this little kid who wears like weird hipster glasses and just talks. It's like I don't know how to describe him. I don't know if it's rap per se, but he definitely dresses like a rapper. He's white.
I don't know.
He's white and young. And
Cool.
yeah, let's get into yours.
Mine.
before
I could have
find,
guessed mine. Like mine's just not that interesting. I don't know. The top one is "Down" by Run the Jewels, which is
You're wearing Run the Jewels shirt right now.
I'm not, but
Well, what is it?
This is just I don't even know. I got it at some thrift store, but it's
Another
It's
great
not Run the
bit
Jewels.
for
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
audio listeners.
yeah, right. I'll put no, I won't post a photo.
Oh,
but-
well, I have "Summertime Sadness" on here too, which is like a 3-year-old.
How
song.
are you such a sad like?
But that's the
man.
that was like the anthem of like the Jersey Shore
Yeah.
for that one summer. 'Cause
Was
it was like
it?
such a good. Well, it was the
Yeah.
remix by.
Oh yeah,
This
you
is
live in Jersey Shore,
2017.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Cedric Gervais when he remixed.
But they
it.
only do. Oh yeah, I guess. Okay.
What's the most embarrassing one on
The
your
most
guy?
embarrassing one. I'm not embarrassed. Like these are all just songs I listen to. I don't know.
I gotta
Yeah,
be
mine
honest.
are just rap
It's a little.
songs.
Mine's a little bit more emo than I like it.
The most embarrassing one on mine by far is the song "Evermore" from the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack.
That's so funny.
When the girl leaves the Beast and he sinks out of the window to come back.
I have "If I Ain't Got You" by Alicia Keys on mine.
Alicia Keys is
How the
amazing.
fuck did you want to build a snowman? Make it on my playlist. I've never even seen Frozen, and it's on my playlist. Oh, I know why that got on
Why
there.
is that so funny?
I know why they got on there because my cousins who are
Sure.
the
Sure.
same, no, it's a real
Sure.
story. They're the same age. One is a year older, one's a year younger, 2 years younger. They play for like an adult baseball team, and they always ask me to come to their games, but I always thought it'd be boring. So I bought like a really big amplifier that has Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And me and another comedian friend of mine, Eric Gonzalez, would get air horns and wear like ridiculous stuff and make signs, and we'd go with the boombox. And we would play the most embarrassing songs during the game.
Yeah.
And that's how that got on there. We used to.
I love how we made up the story on the spot to cover for the
I'm
fact
not
that he
that
actually
good at
loves the
improv.
song.
If I was that good at improv, I'd be working at UCB right now. And I'm not. So what was the most embarrassing one in yours?
I can't even, like, none of these are like, I'm not embarrassed by any of these.
You just have a very angsty playlist.
I do.
Yeah.
That's the
Nothing's-
playlist of a kid who just moved to New York City.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And it makes
No, a lot of
sense.
like punk stuff, and then
I'm curious as to what
Yeah.
Luke listens to.
It's
Yeah.
just rap.
is it rap? Yeah.
Yeah.
Really,
it's
you're.
huge into rap. It's T-shirt by the Migos, Good Drank by Gucci Mane and Quavo, and Kanye, Drake, Gucci Mane and Drake, Meek Mill, Drake.
Wow.
Lil
Got it.
Uzi Vert, Future.
Cool.
You know what song I've been into recently? Gucci Gang.
Oh, it's great.
I saw the whitest tweet the other day.
What was it?
This guy, I don't know. I'm not even gonna call him out because I don't know his name. I scrolled upon his Twitter. He's a comic in LA, has like no followers. He's like a 40-year-old dude.
Yeah.
And he was talking about hanging out with his nephew. And he's like, I didn't know rap got to the point where they could just put out a song where people just start saying Gucci Game. And I was like, and he just kept writing the lyrics, Gucci Game. I was like, dude, this is the whitest thing. It's Gucci Gang.
Oh,
He really thought the song was Gucci Game.
God.
Which, what is that? I mean, Gucci Gang, there's a gang, it's something. But Gucci Game is kind of just like, what does that imply?
No.
Sounds like a fun game.
You a
don't
big
know.
Lil Pump fan?
Little Pump? No, not at all. I've been told. Who told me? I think you told me I should play him.
I
in,
can't believe you're not a fan of his.
I mean, I don't even like know him really. I listen to I'm surprised the top one was like the only rap I really listen to is Run the Jewels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And other than that, you listen to punk?
I listen to like a lot of rock
I
stuff.
had
yeah.
no idea Run the Jewels was a rapper.
I mean,
I thought it
what?
was
Wait,
a
what? No, it's like there's two of them. But yeah.
I always thought Run the Jewels was that game on your iPhone where you ran and collected. I'm not even doing a bit where you collected the jewels. Remember that game?
Temple Run.
Temple
yeah.
Run. I always thought that was Run the Jewels.
Temple
That's so
Run the
funny.
Jewels.
Nah, Run the Jewels is a rap group.
I feel like Austin's the type of guy who in like 4 years is going to get heavy into Lil Peep and then be like, what? He's dead?
Yeah. Austin's going to go through all the dead, angsty
Just
artists.
like when he finally gets into August Ames.
Oh,
oh, look at that
she's
transition.
dead?
segue.
Boom.
I don't get that far into porn stars. Where I'm researching their lives though. You
Can
know.
you tell I've done a lot of morning radio with that segue?
Yeah, like that's like just getting
That
into.
was-
He shoots a glance at the camera. August
Austin,
Ames.
Luke, and Dan in the morning.
Yeah.
In the morning, in the afternoon, in the night.
Yep. I don't know, but sure. It's August Ames. I got to be honest. I am very much into porn. I know porn stars. Well, the shame about this podcast is that my parents listen to it, but I feel like they know. There's been a lot of crusty towels. The MMA fans are going to hate this podcast so much.
We're gonna.
Oh, my God. Thank God the MMA fans, I think I have it figured out. They watch it on YouTube and then get mad at it. The real fans download it on iTunes. The YouTube one is for
You
the
realize
people.
you're
who are-
hating. You're ostracizing half for a fan base, whichever one listens to it on YouTube.
That's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I'm good
Listen,
at
if you're an
making
MMA
people-
fan, we love you.
If
but
you're not, we
you
still love you.
also jerk off and watch porn. So
Yeah.
get off your fucking high horse.
And you know what? And all of us can't afford the expendable income that is using tissues every time you jerk off. Sometimes you got to use a towel and just wash it.
Oh yeah,
Or a sock, to be honest.
You know, Dan's mom's like, why is there? That's why there's the lock
Yeah.
on the sock
She's been
drawer
saying that
all
for
these
10 years.
The comedian who like mentored me back in LA was a porn star, but she was like also like a really good comedian.
Kate
She's
Quigley?
a porn. What's her
Sally
name?
Mullins.
Sally Mellon.
Mullins.
Is
Yeah.
she an older woman?
She's like 40s.
Yeah, she looks like she's done porn.
Did your mom know you were being mentored
My
by?
dad
Have you
did.
ever
My
seen
dad
a-
actually saw us do a show together. Sorry to cut you off. But yeah.
Have you ever seen a porn star like 10 years removed from porn? I feel like they're getting the wrinkles
Sally
fucked
Mullins?
into them.
Sally Mullins?
How long was she a porn star for?
And she is a porn
Long
star
enough.
currently. I think she didn't
I know
like
her.
she started later. Yeah.
There's
I know
not
her.
really any porn. I don't really see any.
I mean, she has sex on
We're
camera
getting
for
off
money.
topic.
I don't know
We're-
what to.
this-
Yeah, sorry.
this
Shout out
segment-
Sally. How you doing?
This
It's been a minute.
segment was to memorialize the great and late August Ames.
Yeah, rest in peace, August
who
Ames. She
took
was a
her
huge fan
life
of the
at the
podcast.
mere age of 23 years old because of you dumb fucking Twitter trolls.
Yeah, you
And
killed a legend.
You did. She was a legend at 23. She
Yeah.
was very. The funniest part about her was her real name. I don't know what her last name was, but her real first name was Mercedes, which is more of a porn name than August.
Is her real last name Ames, or did she make
I
the
think
whole
it was
thing
like
up?
a weird like.
Tell the
Polish
story.
name.
I don't know if everyone knows the story of what happened.
So August Ames, if you are not familiar with porn, again, all of our female
August
listeners are
Ames
gone.
tried to blow up the Port Authority.
yeah. She's Canadian. She was actually Canadian.
As opposed to like not.
Well, I was just factoring it in so she didn't like America, maybe.
Okay.
But I'm just putting words in her mouth. Oh man, but yeah, the thing is, like, she was like a very popular porn star. She did a shit ton of scenes. She was actually married to a porn director, I think. What had happened was she was supposed to do a scene with a porn star who happened to be a gay man in real life and on porn as well, I guess. And she had put out a tweet that said she didn't want to do porn with him because that is the easiest way to contract diseases as a female porn star. She worded it a lot less educated as I just did. She put some emojis in there and whatnot, made it look fun when it really wasn't a fun statement.
Yeah.
At the core of it was just her saying, hey, I don't want to fuck this guy.
Yeah.
I don't think I should have to. So she lost the job. Then a bunch of porn stars and trolls went at her. A few people told her to, I think, swallow poison, which probably wouldn't have been the worst thing she ever swallowed. And this is terrible.
That's wow.
I don't think that should get edited out, though.
No, I'm not.
No, leave it in,
yeah.
Austin.
Yeah. And then, so basically, her last tweet ever was a simple tweet. I think it was a beautiful amalgamation of her life. Her last tweet ever was, fuck y'all. And that was it. She killed herself. And I'm very upset about it. I mean, no porn website has taken down any of her videos.
No.
But I think that would be wrong. Because, we got to remember her for her body of work and her actual body, which happens to coincide.
A bunch of my friends were saying they're like huge fans of her. I'd never even
I'm
heard
a
of
huge
her.
Yeah,
fan.
I haven't heard. Yeah, I hadn't heard of her until.
I'm a huge fan, but in today's climate, I'm not going to get into why I was a huge fan of her.
Yeah.
But boy, was she hot.
She's a little skinny for my taste.
Well, you got to look at recent August names. When she started, she got a little thicker towards the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think a little surgery or two plumped her up.
Yeah, I don't like the fake tits and ass either too much.
Yeah, I think if NYU hears this podcast,
yeah, no,
they're gonna shut this down.
no, we're doing this
Yeah.
at Pace University, where I go to school. Everybody.
Yeah. This is actually at Nyack University in wherever it is. I don't know.
I don't even
know
know
why
that.
I named that. It's because I had a scholarship offer there to play baseball, and I didn't go. It was in some.
He brought that up just to mention that he had a scholarship offer to
Was
play
in
baseball.
Rockland County.
It was, he brought it up just so we could brag about it. We see you,
Listen,
Daniel.
I'm not gonna deny that. I mean, my bio on Twitter, the first thing in it is former college baseball player.
Really, that's
I want-
before all your like TV credits and
Oh,
stuff. You
yeah.
have really.
I got rid of a few of the TV
You're
credits.
clinging onto
Why
that baseball thing
people-
so hard.
People care so much more about the TV
Yeah,
credits
right?
than the fact
No
you're
one gives a
former
shit.
college
I'll be.
baseball
You want to
player.
know exactly why I've done that?
Yeah, why?
Because this was recent. This was a recent change.
He's a
this past
douchebag.
week.
He's a huge
No, because-
self-centered douchebag.
That's not it. There's actually a business reason behind it because since this is a sports
He's
and
a
comedy
professional douchebag.
podcast, and I'm a huge Mets fan, I really wanted to get a Mets player on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I changed my bio to show as a former college baseball player on top of being a podcast host and comedian. So when I followed a bunch of the Mets players, I was hoping they'd follow me back.
Yeah.
Because this was a baseball player and a sports personality.
Did any of them?
One of my favorite pitchers, Jerry Blevins from the Mets, actually followed me back.
Did you slide in the DMs?
I haven't yet. I want to though. He's a funny dude. So that was why that was the whole reason.
Ah.
It was just to get ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably change it back. Oh no, I want
I-
people to know. That was
I take back my shit talk.
the
I
weird thing
retract.
is though, because like a lot of people tell me to like drop it, but it's like I've been a comic for 4 years. I was a baseball player for almost 18. I played almost my whole life, and like every day forever, until I got hurt, and then it got sad. And now I cry when I masturbate because my arm hurts. So, all comes back to August Ames.
It's a big circle,
I was crying
man.
because of her loss. I was crying because my UCL wasn't properly repaired in my arm. There was a lot of tears.
Dan's sitting in his beat-up car with his broken arm, jerking off to Billy Joel and August Ames.
And the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack.
I should
Why'd
ti-
you leave? I cried more over August Ames than I did my breakup.
I should title this episode "Jacking Off to Billy Joel and August Ames."
Yeah, that's a good title. We'll write that
I'm
down.
gonna-
Mental
Jerking
note.
off to Billy Joel and August Ames.
I
that's
just
the
really
title.
wanted to cover the whole August Ames situation because I'm never going to actually be able to cover her. I wanted to do that so bad. That's the only reason I wanted to talk about her.
cover her.
So I could get that bit out. I'm never going to cover her the way I wanted to. But
So stupid.
You're like I was.
that whole thing.
I
was
always
just
fantasized about eclipsing August 8th.
Oh my god. So UFC Fight Night 123.
People of Fresno, how did you enjoy UFC
God.
Fight Night 123? Oh man, what's
Yeah, I just wanna
we good to go?
just checking in.
All right.
So I don't want to get into UFC right after that August names thing. I think we should do a segment where we talk about like our favorite moment from comedy in the past week, because at the core of it, we all are comics
Yeah, sure.
to an extent. So no, sorry, I didn't mean that.
Are we looking
Alright,
at
just
me
get
that?
into
Sorry,
it.
I didn't even. I'm.
Who do you want to go? Austin had the story that he wanted to talk about
Austin,
first.
go for it.
So
this is my least
Austin,
favorite moment of comedy of this week.
Yeah, no,
actually.
this is supposed to be. I know I just made up the segment on the spot about our favorite moments in comedy, but Austin's going to take it in a negative route right away and go with his least favorite story of the week. And to set this up, Austin, as we all know, is a student at Pace University, a.k.a. he is a student at NYU, and we record the podcast in his dorm room on the 10th floor lounge.
NYU
And,
Studios.
Yeah, NYU Studios, yeah. This
I'm getting
is
spelled so quickly.
Thank you,
Yeah,
NYU,
great.
for sponsoring this podcast.
Don't.
Yeah.
I'm editing that part out.
it's the purple podcast studio because NYU's colors are purple. And August, on top of letting August, I just called
Yo, I should take her name as a stage name and like in memoration.
August
Oh
Locke.
my god, that
August-
was such a horny Freudian slip.
That's so funny.
Oh man.
It's because Dan secretly wants to fuck me, but that's.
Yeah, so August over here
Yeah.
runs.
August, tell us your story.
Yeah. So I got harassed on Twitter.
Yeah.
So Austin runs a show at NYU.
Yeah.
That's a strong word since he's tried to do it once and has not succeeded
Hey, you
at
did
it.
the show. It was great.
I did it when Joey ran it.
Me and Joey run together now. It's like a.
That was
like
a great
duo.
show.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. To
Don't
set up
even
the
shit
story,
talk.
they do a weekly.
It's like every 2 weeks. Yeah.
They do a bi-weekly show at a theater in the NYU dorms.
It's pretty dope.
And I headlined it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was great, but by the time I got on stage, it was very hot, the room.
Yeah.
And someone in the crowd smelled like absolute asshole.
How many people were in the audience?
50?
At least. Yeah.
It was to the point one person smelled bad enough that the whole room smelled.
It's a tight
And it was
room.
at the point to where they had ordered pizzas for the room. So the room, for the majority of the show, smelled like pizza. Then this guy's or girl's BO was like, you know what? I'm going to overtake the pizza smell and just put this out there.
So it went from
By the time I got on stage, it was unbearable.
So it went from like being a show where it would have smelled better than a normal show
Yeah.
to smelling even worse than a normal comedy
Exactly.
show. Which,
Yeah.
by
Which
the
is
way,
hard, which is-
doesn't
yeah.
smell great
No,
to
not at
begin
all.
with.
No, comedy shows because there's just the wood beams of a comedy club just have the failed careers of people who thought they were going to make it soaked into the beams.
Yeah.
A lot of dick jokes that went nowhere. Just all around the room. So yeah, Austin, tell us your fun story.
Thanks for the lead in.
Yeah,
bro.
that lead-in wasn't as good about the August Names one.
It wasn't.
That was
But,
an
like I said,
alley-oop,
just
Austin.
wanted
That
to cover
was.
her.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, like Dan said, I run the comedy show, and I get it to this. We run it like different dorms every week because each dorm has like a little theater in it. So we get to the dorm, and they didn't have a microphone. And I was like, dude, we need like a microphone, right? They're like, no, like you're fine. You can just like project. And I was like, no, we're having like it's a professional like we bring
be honest,
dudes and
you
like
could've
Dan
won
and stuff.
acapella.
We could have, but that's just like rude. You know, like
Have
what
you
if you
ever
showed
watched
up?
Pitch Perfect? Acapella's great. Thanks to Anna Kendrick. Can't wait for her career to go bad and then get into porn. Am I the only one? All right. She has a face that screams, "I want to watch her naked." This should be edited out for sure.
I'm not editing the.
This is the career ruining podcast.
They'd be like, why is this podcast
should we
so
release this?
choppy?
Yeah, you go.
No. So they didn't have a microphone. So there's another dorm like 10 blocks away. They have a microphone. So I go down. I get on the train. Train takes off. Train stops in between two stations, and it stopped there for like 45 minutes. If you're from New York, you know there's no like phone service.
Yeah, no phone service really in the subway.
And so because it's a dorm room, I had to
Which
go down.
There should be phone service because if I feel like a terrorist is going to blow up the subway, if you want to report it, there's no one to call.
I mean, I feel like people would hear it, right? If they're gonna blow it up.
I
I don't know. I don't know how explosions
Next week
work.
we'll have to get a guest from the Port Authority this morning. Let us know what it sounded like.
That'd be fun,
Sorry
actually.
for interjecting
No,
into your story. I
please,
was
go for
trying
it.
to add
It's
some interest in
Yeah. You asked for it, you bitch.
it. No, I did.
Can you imagine if we had a Port Authority employee on as a guest?
That would be. I'm okay.
They'd
we
be
should do
so
that.
angry. Be like, so
Would
how's
they?
your day? But they'd be like, fuck you.
I would love to compare their angsty playlist to Austin's playlist and see who's going through more changes in their life.
That's funny. No, so I was just stuck on and I had to go like check in comedians into the dorm because like it's a dorm, they're not just gonna let like people in.
Yeah.
So the comedians were like texting and calling me like, hey, we're outside, but I was stuck on a subway, and so yeah, Dan's flipping me off right now as this thing goes on. I know he did that so you guys couldn't see it, but I want you to know the abuse I feel on this
Breaking the
podcast.
fourth wall.
And then, the show got canceled because I got off the train like an hour after the show was supposed to start. No comedians.
Well, that shows you where Austin's
Yeah.
career is at.
That's
is
exactly
that was
where.
his favorite story of the week for comedy.
That was my least
That is
favorite.
upsetting, though,
Yeah.
because when people don't realize, especially people outside of comedy, that when you run a show or even if you're on a show, like that whole day, you're excited for it.
Yeah.
Then all it takes to ruin a show is one bad moment. One broken down train, one heckler who wants to make the show about themselves, and the show's ruined.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole hope you had for the day is gone, and that is why he listens to Run the Jewels.
And all his punk music.
Shout out Run the Rules.
People don't get me.
No
When-
one understands me is the moral of this story.
So no comic went on stage.
No
again.
comic went on stage.
Never started.
I got back, like I called, like it was done.
Were
it
they
was
mad at
nothing.
you?
They not really.
Did you
but,
still
like,
pay the people who came and didn't go on stage?
I told them to. I texted the guy. I said pay them. They get back and they're like, oh, we didn't pay them. And I was like, what do you like? Because they didn't even see each other. Was the thing.
Yeah.
Because like the comedians were outside.
Here you go.
Actually,
this is
one
what's
of them,
wrong
yeah.
with comedy. Bookers not paying the comics.
Yeah.
God damn it, Austin.
I'm so
Locke.
sorry, guys. I'm the issue here.
Yeah, he
Sometimes
paid
the
them
problem's in your
bow
own
ties.
podcast
Boom.
studio.
Call back to
Call-
episode 1. Bow ties.
Bow ties.
So we'll go over to Luke. What was your favorite comedy story of the week? I know you had a fun week.
I was in Friday. I was in Brook. I went just to hang out at a show in Brooklyn. It's like packed.
What part of Brooklyn?
But Bushwick, I guess.
Before you get into your story, I have to bring this up. I'm sorry. It's been on my
Dan
head.
is the worst
No
person to talk to about
I know, I
anything.
interject into everybody's stories, but this one is topical because there is a new movie on Netflix called
Oh,
Bushwick,
yeah.
and it pissed me off so fucking much.
Why? What's it about?
All right,
What's
I
about
gotta
Bushwick,
get ready.
believe it or
It is
not.
about Bushwick. Spoiler alert, if you want to watch this movie, I highly recommend you don't and just listen to my synopsis of it right now because I will probably be more entertaining than the 2 hours and 10 minutes that it took to watch Bushwick.
This has been the most narcissistic 30 seconds in the history of our podcast.
Listen, it was a low-budget movie. If you're a low-budget film and you put it on Netflix, you better bring the goddamn heat. I'll give them credit where it's due. The storyline of Bushwick was actually good. It was Texas specifically and a few southern states wanted to secede from the Union. And in doing so, they were going to make their point by taking over Bushwick so they could have Congress sign a letter to let them.
How do they choose Bushwick out of
Yeah.
every like?
You know what? It's funny. They mentioned it in the movie. They chose it because they thought that was the place with the most lack of diversity, and they could easily overtake white people. That was the real point of
Really?
the movie. And like the whole arc of the movie was like, well, Bushwick has a lot of diversity, and they're all gonna fight back. And of course, like every person who fought back was not a white person. It was
Yeah.
the most racist movie I've seen in a long time.
Uh-huh.
But the casting was so odd because it opens up. There's a girl. She was in the movie Pitch Perfect. I think her name's Brittany Snow. I'm not 100% sure. It's her and her boyfriend. They get off the train stop in Bushwick, and they're running up this. They're going up the stairs.
Yeah.
And it's quiet. All trains are canceled. The noise plays. There's no one. Like, what's going on? Then they get close to the stairs, and a dude comes tumbling down the stairs who's on fire. And in the most New York moment, they look at each other and they're like, let's just go. He'll figure it out. And like that exemplified New York so much. They're like, you know what? Our commute's not going to get fucked up by this asshole who's on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
So they go up the steps and they start hearing gunshots. And then the boyfriend's like, well, I got to check this out. I got to do that. We've only been dating for 4 weeks, but this makes sense.
Uh-huh.
And he walks up, and then a bomb goes off, and he blows up and dies. So that's how it really opens. And now she's on her own, and she wants to get to her sister's apartment. So in the process of it, two guys she hides in the basement of a house. Two guys are in there. They get close to raping her. And all of a sudden, who comes out of nowhere? Bautista from the WWE is the main actor. Bautista.
Really?
Yeah, and he actually was the executive producer. So he kills those two people, beats the shit out of them with his fists, murders them. Funny thing, one of my favorite shows, 13 Reasons Why. I have a gay crush on the guy Tony from that, Christian Navarro. He was the guy who got killed by Bautista. He went from a star of 13 Reasons Why to getting murdered in the first 10 minutes of a movie. So then now Brittany, whatever her real name is, I don't know what her name was in the movie, her and Bautista are together. And they're very different. He's like he's a janitor, former Marine, badass motherfucker. They leave. He takes her under his wing. Then it's normal. It seems like it's ending because Bushwick is under attack, but Bushwick's fighting back.
Yeah.
So instead of rounding up people, now it's shoot on spot. So they're just murdering everyone in Bushwick. And so the movie goes on for about an hour and a half. They're supposed to get to this laundromat. They get there despite all the problems. And they have this really beautiful heart-to-heart where they connect. They realize they're not that different. A very hacky movie premise. He's like, all right, we'll go get your sister. I got to go to the bathroom right now.
Yeah.
He walks into the bathroom. There's a kid sitting on the floor of the bathroom, shoots him and kills Bautista.
Yeah.
So now Bautista's dead. He's as dead as they could be. She gets her shit together. She's like, you know what? I got to go find my sister. Her sister comes into the laundromat. They're like, oh, my God, the helicopters are 5 minutes away. Let's find our way through the gunfire and get to the helicopter. So they make it almost was like a video game. There was like 4 levels. They make it through the past 3 levels. They get to the last
Don't worry,
one.
I'll edit all this out. Don't even worry. Like this is, it's okay.
They get, no, listen.
That's how it feels, bitch.
I should do this synopsis because you're going to be surprised at how the movie ends. It's just as bad as this description. So now, I hate you, Austin. So now, Brittany and her sister are running to the helicopter. Brittany peeks her head over the shield to see where it is and just catches a bullet to the dome and dies. Main character, dead. That's the whole movie. I hated it. I was so upset. There was no happy ending.
Why does there need to be a happy ending?
The only redeeming quality as a struggling comic in New York is through all of the chaos. I was like, you know what? If this happened, it wouldn't be the worst thing because I could probably afford an apartment in Bushwick next week.
Was that whole story just for that punchline?
Yep, got it in it.
Wow.
That's funny.
So yeah, back to your story about
Back
doing
to
your
the-
show.
Wait, how did? Wait. Yeah, this all started as an interruption of Luke.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I watched the movie this week and I felt like
true.
it was necessary to tell people not to watch it. It was such a far left movie while also being racist.
I hope
was
we can
very
watch the podcast analytics of the viewers, the listeners.
They drop out about that minute. Yeah,
If you think they made it through me saying I wanted to cover August names,
that's true. Yeah,
they were gone a long time
that's
ago.
very fair.
Yeah, if you
I think
sickos
people are
made it.
going to appreciate this.
Oh man, no.
Whoever makes it to the end of this episode is the true fans.
Yeah.
They are
We
the
should
fisters.
we should say something at the very end that like they can tweet at us and like they get a shirt or something. I don't
That's
know.
actually a good
We'll
idea.
get there
Speaking
at
of
the end.
Well, the thing with I was at the show on Friday in Bushwick, and I was at the show on Friday in Bushwick, and like I just
Bautista did
hanging.
that.
Bautista was the host. He's like, "You guys ready?"
Bautista was the host. Yeah.
No, but I was just hanging out, and the host threw me up for a guest. But it was like packed. But I don't know if you had like you came up in clubs, and you probably definitely have this thing where it's like some of these shows in Bushwick, you could tell everybody in the crowd is like rich, but they dress like they're homeless.
Yes.
It's like a
I know
weird
what you're
thing.
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they dress like specific. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like
I
a
also
weird
find the
hipster
opposite
thing.
in Bushwick too, though, where they dress so bougie and are poor as fuck.
Yeah.
It's a place where people either want to come off as something. Everyone wants to come
Everybody,
off as something they're not,
wants to go
be
on something
honest.
for sure.
Yeah.
But it was
Bushwick
like
as a whole is a place of people that are really trying to find themselves.
yeah, the collective net worth of
Bautista.
net worth of the room must have been like in the millions, and
Oh,
then
wow.
they were all dressed like they're in a
now
soup
it's just
kitchen.
you.
Yeah. It's just
Oh yeah, he
me.
invests in Litecoin. No big deal.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Fucking no, but no, it ended up going great. But it was like I always expect that not expect that. There's a part of me in my head that I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck because I don't relate to these people at all, and they don't relate to me.
And it always works out for the good.
Yeah, well, most of the time it ends up being
Anytime
alright.
I walk
'cause-
into a room and I'm like, these people are gonna hate me, 100% of the time
They hate you.
me.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's most of my shows. It's funny because analytically, my fan base is 84% male, so I already know most of the females in the room are not gonna like me.
You
And-
think so?
Oh, 100%. And Bushwick is a very female-heavy crowd usually.
Why do you think women don't like your shit?
Look at him.
I would
What
say
do you-
right off the bat, it's my looks. It's a very intense racist look. Flannel, boots, jeans. I wear fucking Thor's hammer necklace, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think you just have a very dude look?
I have a very dude look, which is funny because my material, I'm such a male feminist. Yeah, all right. This podcast sucks. Well,
Austin has the same thing when there's men in the crowd. They just like they.
the men probably, yeah.
Austin.
Austin has that cool
I trigger
thing
the
where
blatant homosexual tendencies.
when
of the
Austin
crowd.
really hits, he could get big because men will love him and women will love him.
And also house cats will love him.
What does that even mean?
I don't
What
know,
is
but it was
that
funny. Let it hit. A bit hit. Don't shut it down. That didn't bomb like my Bautista story. That was a good bit.
I mean, yeah, I'll take what I can get, yo.
Do you want to?
If I had told that
Yo,
Bautista
Pussy
story on
Flocks,
stage
what up?
somewhere, I would have gotten the light. It would just be like, hey, stop, get off the show now. You're ruined. You're making everyone sad.
Can you imagine trying to do that?
See,
in
you
like
keep referencing the story, but I'm gonna edit it out anyway. So like, the people are gonna be
That's-
confused.
That is why I've been bringing up the story because now you can't edit it
No,
out.
I'm going to. And
No, you can't.
I'm not
that
gonna edit.
That was an integral part of this podcast.
But it
So you were happy that it turned out
Oh
better.
yeah, Luke's story.
Yeah, it was good. My story is very just like looking at.
We get it.
people
You're
like
a good
that.
comedian.
No, that's not it, you motherfucker. It's,
It's funny because my story is actually on the similar train of thought because I was doing a show at a bar that has a back room that doubles as a comedy club, and sometimes you can't say the name. So I was it's where I came up. It's where I started, and it's always hit or miss. I'm honest. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
This particular night, I walked into the back of the room to drop in to do a set, and there was 3 people at one table. And I was like, well, this is going to be terrible. So I went outside to have a smoke, and I came back in. I went on stage. Turns out, the best 3 people you could have at a show.
Yeah.
There were 3 people from New Zealand, and they were just having the time of their life to the point where they were, like, just so appreciative of every joke. They're like, yeah, I really liked that. It was great. They were just such good people.
People that are so cool.
Yeah, it was like a really cool moment where I was like, you know what? Just because the layout of the room with only 3 people, it doesn't actually have to suck. I went in there judging just the number of people, and that was going to be a bad show. Turned out being one of the best of the week.
Totally.
So long story short, I'm walking to the Broadway Comedy Club 4 days ago. Dude on the street stops me. He's like, hey, are you Dan LaMorte? I was like, yeah, what's up? He goes, I was one of the 3 people in a bar show you did last week. And I just want to let you know that was the best time of my life. He's like, I'd never felt so cool to see a comic go up there and just tell great jokes for 3 people. And then he had his family with him, and he was like, it was his aunt and uncle. Goes, look, this was the dude I was telling you about. Long story short, people from New Zealand are great, and they're so dirty. His uncle was like, tell me a story about your cock. And I was like, what? I was like, if you come in now, you're going to see my set, and that's basically all I do. And we took pictures. We hung out.
Did they come in?
No, I told him not to because it was a long show. And the turns out the kid who saw the show at the bar and then was here is a scientist. So I just have the smartest fan base on the planet. my fans are so
That's what
smart.
he takes away from
Just
that.
dick joke scientists.
Yeah. That's funny.
great.
He was a data scientist.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. It sounds like it's way out of my realm of knowledge.
Do you want to talk about Fresno?
Yeah, we'll bring it home with Fresno because this has been a train wreck of an episode.
I think it's been.
I think it's been. If
I had fun. I don't
the
know.
people who actually like the podcast are going to love this episode.
Yeah.
The comedy aspect of it. Well, we'll get into the Fresno. There's
You
not
like this episode if you're a true fan.
Fresno. That was an interesting
Feel
night as
manipulation.
a fight fan because there was the Lomachenko boxing fight,
Yeah.
which was insane. I mean, he made the guy quit in the 6th round. The guy, he beat him so bad that the guy refused to get up off his stool. He got outclassed as much as I've ever seen someone.
Yeah,
It was
Lomachenko's
insane.
amazing.
Yeah, he's on a different level. Now he's the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world. And then also Bellator fights are on the night, and I watched none of it because, to be honest, if the UFC's up against Bellator, I go to the UFC.
For sure.
The first fight that really stuck out to me, I guess, was the Andre. His name does wonders to me. I think it's Sukumthad. And he was fighting Luke Sanders, and just second round TKO'd him.
Big knock. Yeah.
Luke Sanders argued, but I mean, he got dropped and he got hammer-fisted a bunch. And that was like a really big upset. I was super upset that I didn't put money
He
on
was
it.
face down on the canvas, just getting pummeled in the head, and wasn't really defending himself. And then as soon as it got stopped, it was like, you know.
Yeah, it was fun because Luke Sanders is kind of a big prospect to an extent, and Andre came in there and really worked him over. But I think
saw some people arguing that they thought it was even too early of a stoppage. They were like, in actuality, like it could have been stopped even earlier than it was.
yeah, it could, because when he got dropped like that, you technically could call it so he doesn't get a follow-up punch.
Yeah.
Like the Overeem.
Totally.
When Overeem got knocked out, he got that one extra Superman punch coming down.
Yeah.
But I think obviously the highlight, it's sad to say the highlight because everyone thought Aljamain Sterling died. But when Marlon goes for the switch kick,
Unbelievable, dude.
Aljo comes in, and then just somehow the MMA gods let us have what was going to be a switch kick as a knee to the head.
It was crazy.
And it caught him flush on the head, and he actually his head stopped his fall because he was arched over because I guess he was going for like a takedown or something.
Yeah.
Or like to clinch up. So when he fell, his body just arched and his head was just on the canvas.
I haven't seen a guy fall stiff like that in a while, where
Yeah.
like as soon as he gets hit, he stiffens up and falls to the canvas.
And people got stills of the knockout.
Yeah.
And I tweeted, I was like, somewhere Alistair Overeem is sitting in his chair, drinking his dinner through a straw, being so happy that he's no longer the go-to meme for the UFC.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, they got the next big
In 10
event. Someone got
seconds,
knocked out
Aljo got
harder.
turned into a meme again.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And it was crazy to see because even in the post-fight interview and leading up to that and some videos that have surfaced since, Marlon wasn't happy. I mean, obviously he was happy he won, but they're friendly enough, because Aljo fights out of New York and Marlon fights out of New Jersey.
Yeah,
So they definitely have crossed paths before in training.
for sure.
And Marlon was definitely really concerned because Aljo got taken out on a stretcher. But from what I hear, he's good. He typed it out on a computer because he can't talk anymore. But
That's
I'm sure. I really do hope he comes back fine because Aljo's a great fighter.
no, and it's nice to see the guys have respect for each other like that. Where a guy like Marlon,
Yeah,
because
because when it comes down to it, even I think Marlon in one of the interviews was like, it's a sport. You don't actually want to hurt your opponent. I mean, for that time being, you want to beat them.
yeah,
But like, you don't actually want to cause like a lifetime of pain to them.
no, for sure. And then Ortega was.
Yeah, that was
Just-
crazy. I'm a big Cub Swanson fan. It was upsetting to watch because Cub, to me, if he had won that fight, was next in line after Holloway Edgar to get a title shot because
Yeah.
he had the Dooho Choi fight, which was one of the best fights of the past decade, maybe.
Do you think Ortega's now next in line after Edgar?
Ortega talked like that. Ortega did something really cool where they were like, do you want a chance for the title? And he's like, not until Frankie Edgar gets his chance.
That's awesome.
He's like, I want Frankie deserves it. And then I've seen some people be like, the UFC's kind of pushing Frankie Edgar on us, but Frankie's a fun to watch fighter, man.
Yeah, nobody's
And I
pushing
do-
Edgar on it. Like
I
Frankie's
do think
so
he deserves the chance. Maybe that's because I'm biased because he's also from New Jersey. But yeah, that was a great guillotine. I mean,
And
I didn't really see it coming.
Frankie never got the McGregor shot when McGregor was at 145 that he wanted. Frankie's been passed over sometimes for title shots. I think it's fair now for him to
Yeah,
get
and-
one. Holloway's
And
been on
honestly,
top
at
for a
this
while.
point, if Frankie gets the title shot and doesn't win,
They're saying March.
then he could go out and be like, well, that was I gave it my all and I didn't get it.
Yeah, and then bring in Ortega or whoever else. I mean,
I think
Cub
that division, it is. I don't want to say it's weak, but there's enough of an opening for Ortega to now. He's definitely solidified himself. I think maybe he should have to fight one more fight. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think he ultimately wants to sit out until Edgar and Holloway fight and then jump in the next one after that.
If he wins again, he's absolutely got to
But
get the nod.
that has got to be a weird counter thing where like he's like, well, I could sit out and then maybe be next in line for a title shot, or I could fight one more time and if I win, definitely get it, or if I lose, fall out of the contention for a little while.
yeah, I
It'll
mean,
be fun to see how it plays out. Ortega, I mean, I heard there's so much hype around him, which is weird.
his jiu-jitsu's unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it was great.
incredible.
It was
that
a
guillotine
solid
was incredible.
guillotine.
The way he wrapped his legs around him, like
Oh my God.
suspended
He
in
looked
the
like
air.
a koala bear.
Yeah, it was so crazy the way he just pounced on him like that. Also, like, shout out to Cub Swanson for the toughness he showed. Getting
he
out of
just
that
had a daughter.
the anaconda, the
Yeah.
way he got out of that anaconda
my
was. I mean,
God.
that was so tight. He looked even just the facial expressions Cub was making while he was caught in that
Yeah,
anaconda
he
looked
hung
like it
in.
was over.
Yeah, this was the first time, actually, to be honest, I've ever watched UFC fights where high out of my mind,
Yeah,
and it was amazing.
it was nice.
I was just like, oh my God, how is he hanging on?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I was so high that I stopped losing the strength to breathe.
Yeah.
That's just because I'm obese, though. So, and I do want to bring home the podcast with just talking about how much I dislike the idea of fucking Conor McGregor versus Manny Pacquiao. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't care about this circus type of fight. McGregor had a chance to solidify himself as one of the best UFC fighters of all time, and he has not. In order for me to respect a fighter, a champion, they have to defend the belt. They have to defend it again. They have to keep defending the belt, and he hasn't.
He doesn't give a shit about that though.
No, I know he doesn't, but I guess it's become very clear that he's in it for the money.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of says he's in it for the money.
I never wanted to believe it, but
He says it. Like,
it's funny though because
remember when they said who do you think is your biggest adversary on here? When it was like one of those big press conferences where they have everybody up doing press, like all dozen or 15 fighters, however many are on the card, and they said who's your biggest adversary? He goes, I don't know. Like after this, I might see where Floyd Mayweather's at, drag his ass out
Yeah.
again. Like I don't think there's anything left for me in the UFC. And then he did fight Floyd, and now if there's money where Pacquiao is, he's gonna fight Pacquiao, and he's gonna lose to
fight
Pacquiao.
Floyd is such a tongue twister.
Yeah, fight Floyd.
Fight Floyd.
Fight Floyd.
Fight Floyd.
But fight Fist.
Fight
but
fist. Full circle.
bam. But no, he's gonna keep going where the money's at, and if the money is fighting Pacquiao, he's gonna fight Pacquiao. The only thing is that
Well,
like
Dana White said he's on. They asked Dana White in the post-fight, the post-Fresno press conference, and he's like, if that's true, I'm going to sue Manny Pacquiao because McGregor's under contract. He has to fight with us before he has another boxing match.
yeah.
Because
I mean,
if there's one thing Dana White needs, it's more money.
yeah.
So he could not pay it out to the fighters. Boom! boom, I'm coming at you, Dana White.
I'm sure he listens. I think it's no. The only thing is that even if he were to fight Pacquiao, that's going to be the last boxing match that happens because he's the only one. He's the only other boxer besides Floyd where there's more money for McGregor to fight him than there is for him to fight in the UFC. Nobody else is a bigger draw than Diaz or those.
That's why
type
McGregor's
guys.
trying to work his way in. That when he says if he wants to fight again in the UFC, he wants to become part owner, because that'll guarantee that his payout, no matter what, is going to be a consistent ownership income.
I mean, the amount
But
that
hey-
he's done for the UFC money-wise is like nothing anybody's ever done before.
I would argue right now that he quickly became one of the most famous fighters.
He is the most famous
And I
fighter.
think the Twitter releases their analytics for the most talked about celebrities in each industry. And McGregor made it to the top 5 most talked about athletes of this entire year, even more so than Mayweather.
Yeah, I mean, he's surpassing as far
'cause-
as like him
And
compared
that
to the
goes
rest
back
of
to,
the.
I remember when Mayweather and McGregor were putting like Instagram pictures out for the fight. McGregor got a considerable amount more of likes. He has a ton of fans.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is like McGregor's like considerably bigger now than Ronda was when Ronda was peaking.
She might be changing over to the WWE, but we could tackle that when it happens.
Yeah, for sure. But
And
this,
then
I mean,
she's going to star in a movie.
McGregor
called,
is by far the biggest star of the UFC scene. You know,
Yeah.
and I understand. I want to see him fight a better fight. I want to see him fight Tony. I want to see him fight Khabib when Khabib gets back, kicking. I would love to see him like do something crazy, like fight, do a third against Diaz,
I wanna
fight
see
Woodley,
I
do
want to
something
see
crazy.
him make a movie with
Him-
Ronda Rousey
yeah.
called Astoria. Thank you. I just want to get that bid in.
Fight,
Really hammering home.
No, fight, and even a super fight with GSP, any of that stuff would be more
Well,
interesting.
GSP's done. He
to
vacated
me.
the belt.
The 85 belt.
He's done.
He's done fighting.
That's what it seems like.
You think he's not going to even fight at 70?
I don't think so. I don't think he really wants to. I think he wanted to come in and get that one fight against Bisping and then go out.
Really?
Well, why else would he vacate the belt? I get he doesn't want to
Because
fight
he-
at that weight. Yeah.
Because he wants to go back down to
I really hope
170.
he doesn't, but
He's super small
I
for
get
an
this
85.
weird. I get this weird feeling that he's kind of done with it, but we'll see.
Maybe. I mean, I think he just knows, like, GSP's so small for 85. Compare him to, like, Rockhold, Yoel, Whitaker,
I love how as
Gastelum.
fans we could say he's so small for that, but I'm 120 pounds more than him, and I still wouldn't even like look in his direction. I'd be like, no, you go, dude. It's fine. I know
Yeah.
I got 120 on you, but trust me. You
I
got
mean,
everything
he's
else over
thick.
me.
It's just, like, actual, just, like, bone structure
Did you
size
just call him thick?
Oh, yeah.
Like a
he's
porn
nice.
star?
Yeah, like August.
Like August Ames.
Like
She was
August.
thick at the end of her life. Well, I
Jerking
want
off to Billy Joel and August Ames.
Before we wrap this up, I do want to say, as graphic as that got in the middle, suicide sucks, Twitter trolls suck, and the folks at MiddleEasy do not endorse the statements we made. Maybe they do, but they probably don't.
This is all
Yeah,
done
this
in
was
fun
all-
and comedy. We
I
Recorded
really
out here at
did. I
Pace
really was
University.
upset when August Ames died, and I really do hope. I am a bipolar person and a depressed person. So if you're not feeling good, just send me a message and I'll roast you till you feel better. And as always, I guess thanks to MiddleEasy for letting us do the podcast under the name.
Thank you, MiddleEasy.
Thanks
Thank you
to
for
Tech
all the
Guru
fans.
and third man on the mic, Austin Locke, for joining in. Also
Side
known as
bitch.
Thank you very
August
much.
Locke / August
August
Bow
Locke.
Tie.
Oh, wait, do we want to do the if you listen to the end with the tweet us something?
Yeah, if you actually listen to the end of the podcast, which I'm going to assume you did not, tweet out.
Jerking off to Billy Joel and August Ames. to the
Probably
three of
not.
us.
Yeah, no.
Tweet out Beauty and the Beast.
No.
No, tweet
That's-
out.
No, we're not doing that.
What should they tweet out?
I like jacking off to Billy Joel and August Ames.
No.
People came in. It's okay, though. We're wrapping up
Yeah,
the
no.
podcast.
funny.
No, that can't be the. We want to.
They walked in at a really bad moment.
That's
when
really
we were
funny.
saying jerking off to Billy Joel.
Yeah, people just walked in when we said jerking off to Billy
Again,
Joel.
we do this in the dorm rooms of Pace University.
Definitely
so.
Pace University.
All right, if you
Honestly-
made it to the end of the podcast, tweet hashtag Pace University.
Yes,
at the
me,
three of us.
Hashtag Pace
at
University.
Luke Touma, at Dan LaMorte, at Austin Locked Up, hashtag Pace University, and
you-
we'll
you
know
did
Damn,
got
he
them
knew.
locked
He
up.
got it. Wow.
Yeah, we'll know you made it to the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
As always, thank you
Thank
for joining us.
you.
Please keep rating and reviewing the podcast. You're doing wonders for us on iTunes. We're trying to get on some
Yes,
lists. We're trying to
sir.
get some momentum. So
Bruh.
rate, review, subscribe. Thank you very much.
Thanks
Share
for
it with your
listening.
See you
friends.
next week, guys. Thank you.